You're listening to the Kilcullen Diary Podcasts, stories in sound from a village grown bigger. Hello, I'm Brian Byrne, and this is Kilcullen Diary. A new business which has recently launched in Kilcullen is Faerly.ie, an idea long thought about by local residents James Byrne and Eoin Houlihan. The concept is to make available high-quality personal care and daily use household products, which are sustainably produced, kind to the environment, and to a large extent are made and supplied by small businesses. Eliminating as far as possible plastics and chemicals is an underpinning focus. James told me that the trigger to get going on the idea came out of lockdown.
We talked about doing for years. Always wanted to do it, but between work and everything else, never had the time to dedicate to it. So I guess that's what the lockdown gave us back, a lot of time. So we just decided to go for it. I suppose over the last few years we've been more and more conscious of the amount of plastic and chemicals kind of in our own lives, just about the place. And we've been involved in more things like Tidy Towns or the Climate Action Group in Kildare. And we just started cutting things out ourselves and really seeing no downside to it. So I guess we just wanted to share that and be involved, I suppose, in something like small. It's a small business, but just at a small level to do something, a bit of positivity to it.
So, when it came to cutting out and changing, what were some of the products they started with for themselves?
Well, like small things, I suppose, like chemicals for us, so cleaning products. So gradually we've got rid of all the kind of usual supermarket type cleaning products and replaced them with ones that they genuinely work just as well, but they don't have that really intense, there's nothing stinging your eyes or that chemical taste at the back of your throat when you're using them. They're mostly made from kind of environmentally friendly ingredients and things like that, but they still clean perfectly well. And then things like deodorant, that was one of the first things we changed. So, no spray deodorants or deodorants in plastic. I used to use those old antiperspirants, and all my work shirts would get totally destroyed, and all that's gone. So you have to, no downsides, I guess.
James's day job is involved in e-commerce, so he was in a good position to set up the nuts and bolts of a business. And as an online enterprise, he knew what was required to set up a suitable website. With the soft launch over the last couple of weeks, Faerly now has some 500 different products available. Did James and Eoin have fairly strict considerations for their suppliers?
I suppose we have a list. Not everything ticks everything on the list, but we're not purists. We want to have high standards in what we sell. So we're looking for things like natural products, natural materials, ethical companies. We're particularly interested in small companies and Irish companies that are local to us that make their own products, if it doesn't have to travel that far. So I guess we have a list of things that we're interested in, and we don't say everything has to tick every single box on the list. For example, palm oil is a controversial product. We don't say we won't sell products with palm oil, but if it does have palm oil, we'll only sell products with sustainable palm oil. Things like plastic. We don't want to sell products with plastic as much as possible, but sometimes products have a little bit of plastic in them, so it might be a glass jar with a plastic lid and the lid is recyclable. So we're not going to knock it out on that base.
Was it hard to find suitable producers that ticked those boxes for James and Eoin's requirements?
Yes and no. I wouldn't say that hard, to be honest. There's a lot more products in this space now than there would have been a few years ago. It's definitely growing. People's interest in it is growing. I suppose one time, if you were talking about products like this, you would have just been seen as an eco-warrior and boxed off. But they're very mainstream now, and people realising that the quality is improving all the time. You can have really good products, and they don't have to have bad or toxic ingredients in them.
While Faerly is designed to especially support small Irish makers of the various products, James and Eoin have also looked abroad for some of the items on their catalogue.
Some of the products that we sell just aren't made in Ireland today, so we don't exclusively sell Irish. But if we can find an Irish supplier for a product, we would definitely be more interested in that. And we particularly are interested, and we have products from companies and makers in Scandinavia. I suppose one of the ethoses behind Faerly and what we've set up is some of the Scandinavian concepts. One of them is called Hygge, which you've probably heard, and it was very trendy here in Ireland for a while. And another one is a Swedish one called Lagom. They mean the same thing, which is kind of being happy with what you have, having just enough of something, having things that are good quality and things that are made to last. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about having products that enhance your life, really.
The name Faerly is an original one, with some suggestions of Irish and maybe Scandinavian origin. I asked James where it came from.
We went through a process of thinking of names. We had some names we felt fit and some didn't fit, and names we liked but we couldn't, for various reasons, couldn't get maybe the website address or something like that. And we were playing around with words like fair and good and humble and these kind of words that we felt kind of summed up what we're about. You know, we're not trying to take over the world. We want our business to be small and sustainable, small and mighty, I guess we call it. And eventually we settled on Faerly, and we just found a word that felt right. It's a nice, warm name. It's a little bit Irish, it has a nod to fair and ethical, but at the same time, it's a word that's not really used, so we could own it.
So, having incubated the idea for a long time, then using lockdown to actually get down to it, how does it feel to have Faerly up and running?
Great. It's a bit scary, actually. It's like a little baby we've had here for the last few months that we've been working on, but like working on in private or, with our friends and family, getting feedback. So putting it out into the world is a little bit scary, actually. But it's been lovely. We've got really great, I suppose we're in what you call a soft launch at the moment. We've made the site live. We've told our family and friends. We've launched it locally. We went to the market, but we haven't gone much further than that yet. It's been great so far. Lots of orders in and lots of positive feedback. It seems to resonate with people, which is what we want. They seem to really like the brand and the products that we have so far.
Given James's e-commerce background, it makes sense for Faerly to launch as an online business. Is that how they intend to continue?
At the moment, our goal is to do it online. Like, obviously, we both work, so it's a part-time business for us at the moment, and the online really suits that. It lends itself to it, and over the last few months, it's been evenings and weekends that we've been given to this, and that really suits online. And I guess for online, it allows us to get out to everybody across the country from here, whereas if we were physically travelling to markets and events, we could only do what we could cover with the two of us. So I think for now, our view is to grow it online, but never say never down the line.
There's a very old saying that there's nothing new under the sun. And of course, this applies to many new businesses too. What about the established competition?
Like any sector, there's always going to be competitors, and I guess it's a nice. There's a lot of great sites out there selling products like this, and look, our view is that there's a bit of a mission behind this. We want to try and convert people to these kind of products. If there's more people in that space, well, then there's more people getting into that product, and it's a bit like the expression better than me, but like the rising tide lifts all boats, and we subscribe to that. So, we think there's enough business for us to grow a small business here for ourselves without being too worried about other competitors.
And that was James Byrne, who, with Eoin Houlihan, has created the new Faerly.ie website, both as a business and to encourage people to use products more friendly to the planet. We wish them well. I'm Brian Byrne, and this is Kilcullen Diary. Thanks for listening.